First pick of the 2022 draft, Paolo Banchero is having a rookie year so far that has lots of people around the NBA talking, and for good reason. So far, he's putting up rookie numbers similar to those of a future Hall of Famer, and in his short amount of games played has had a comparable season to a rookie LeBron or Luka in effectiveness. Now, at the making of this video, he's only played 11 games in the NBA, but he's making it look easy with fluid movement with the ball, smart shots, and some solid athleticism. Already putting up back-to-back 30-point games and very close losses before being sidelined with a sprained ankle recently. Banchero has already proved that he's one of, if not the most versatile players coming out of the draft, and looks to have a bright future ahead of him. This is leading many to wonder, who is Paolo Banchero, and how good could this kid really be? To better understand Paolo's present and future, we gotta dive into his past a little bit. Banchero's mother, Rhonda Smith Banchero, is a Hall of Famer and a legend in women's basketball, finishing her career at the University of Washington as the all-time leading scorer and rebounder. She also went pro for a few years back when the infrastructure and funding for women's basketball weren't as strong as they are today. When Paolo began to show interest in basketball at 7 years old, she started coaching him and had him play with girls who were older, faster, and stronger than him. In Paolo's ESPN interview titled "He Gets It From His Mama," Paolo says that playing girls made him value communication on the court a lot more, as in his opinion, girls talk on the court a lot more. He also attributes his competitiveness as well as some of his go-to moves to his mom and her coaching. Banchero's dad, Mario Banchero, was a college football player who grew up in an American household of Italian immigrants, who met his mom while studying at the University of Washington as well. While it's not mentioned what impact his dad may have had on his game, it's safe to assume that with a college football player for a dad, Paolo's got some strong genes, and it does show. Paolo's strength doesn't exactly seem to be a concern, considering he's still a rookie and is able to score in the paint quite easily. I mean, Paolo's first NBA bucket was gotten by bumping third-year Saddiq Bey, who's 6'7" and has some size to him 3 feet back, and getting a completely open bucket, so I'm sure he can thank his father for some of that natural strength. This brings us back to Paolo's high school days. In Paolo's mom's words, in the 9th grade, starting at OD high school, the second time Paolo touched the ball, he dribbled down the middle and had a poster dunk. She knew then that he would be alright in the basketball world. And since that point, Paolo's only improved, eventually becoming known as a high school phenom with NBA potential throughout the country through high school basketball mixes on the internet. He finished high school with accomplishments such as winning a state championship, winning Metro League MVP, and earning Washington Boys Basketball Player of the Year during his junior year, averaging 22.6 points per game, 11 rebounds a game, almost 4 assists, and a block and a half per game. As you could imagine, he was a 5-star recruit going into college and was highly recruited by a number of top schools, but eventually chose the prestigious Duke to play under the legendary Coach K during his last year of coaching. There he had a solid rookie campaign where he put up great stats, enough to win a number of awards, including but not limited to Consensus All-American, All-ACC, ACC Rookie of the Year, and many more. This level of performance helped Duke along their path in March Madness of 2022. With Paolo as a major piece of the squad, they made it to the semifinals of the tournament, a major achievement in a tournament as cutthroat and intense as March Madness. With this run, Paolo earned himself an NCAA All-Tournament Award and an NCAA All-Region Award. With the end of his very successful freshman season at Duke, it wasn't even a question that he would declare for the NBA draft, and he did, beginning the very start of his NBA journey. Paolo was already a predicted lottery pick for a long time before this point, but after this college run, it was completely solidified that he was likely going to be top 3 in the draft.
Going into this previous draft, it was a tight race to see who would end up in Orlando with the first overall pick. In the weeks and days leading up to the draft, the betting odds shifted multiple times, with Paolo, Chet, and Jabari rotating in and out of the spot for the prospective first overall pick. Then the day before the draft, reports came out that Jabari was expected to land in Orlando, possibly due to the fact that there was also reports Chet's workout with the Magic was a little off, maybe with a little persuasion from Sam Presti and the OKC Thunder. And then there was an additional report that the Magic never even saw Paolo in any type of workout. But of course, it turned out the Orlando didn't even need to see Paolo in a workout, as his time with Duke was all the proof they needed. It was a pretty large surprise, as the Magic really held the cards close to the chest on this one, with a lot of people considering Jabari to be the most NBA-ready player of the draft. But Paolo was ready to begin his campaign to prove the doubters wrong, as he slated to face Jabari in their first Summer League game, in which Paolo got the upper hand, going 17-4-6 compared to Jabari's 10-7-3, while walking away with the dub. He came back the second game with a staggering 23 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 blocks, and 6 dimes, with one of those being to the game-winning basket. Of course, this is just Summer League, and you should never overreact to Summer League. But when that same player comes out to his NBA debut dropping 27, 9, and 5, being the first rookie since LeBron James to do that in their debut, it might be an appropriate time to get hyped up. Adding to this fact, Paolo was able to get off 2 more points on only 18 shot attempts compared to LeBron's 22 shot attempts, while also doing so in only 35 minutes compared to LeBron's 42, due to the fact his game went into overtime. Now, we're not saying Paolo is the next coming of LeBron, because it's way too early to make a claim like that, but his early season start is historic beyond his debut, as he's the first #1 pick since 1968 to record 20 plus points in the first 5 games, and becoming one of only 5 other players to record 20 plus points in their first 6 games, with Grant Hill being the most recent of this, with his rookie year being almost 30 years ago. Paolo, of course, did struggle in his 7th game, shooting 33% from the field and only 17 from 3. He struggled the next game as well, but at least he contributed more on the defensive glass, snagging 8 defensive rebounds. He was able to fully recover in the following game against the Warriors, dropping 22 points in a tight game against the former champs. But that was only a warm-up for his most impressive game to date, in which he grabbed his 3rd double-double. But with a career-high 33 points along with 16 rebounds, joining LeBron again as the only teenager with a 30-15 game. And he did this knocking down 14 of his 26 shots, going a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He followed it up with another 30-point performance in his next game, but unfortunately Paolo suffered an ankle injury that sidelined him for the next 7. And as we've covered in a previous video, this method of sidelining players for longer than necessary might be having a negative effect on players, but if you want to hear more about that, check out our video right up here. But now back to Paolo. His inconsistency and availability is just temporary, and hopefully a result of the tanking machine for Wembanyama, and not a true case for concern going forward, as he's quickly emerging as a future star in this league for years to come. The Magic have been putting together a pretty solid squad, and with the addition of Paolo running alongside Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs, they've stacked up as a potential contender in future years with development. And all things considered, Orlando has a pretty good track record when it comes to drafting, as they've been pretty successful when it comes to their first overall picks, choosing players that have had long accolade-filled careers, with each one of the first overall picks managing to reach the NBA Finals within their first 5 years with the team. And this includes Penny Hardaway, who the Magic may have not taken with the first overall pick, but they did use their pick Chris Webber to make a draft day trade, snagging up Penny. And luckily it seems Paolo is excited to be a part of the Magic organization. And it seems they've already given the young 20-year-old full reign of the squad, as he leads the team with a 30% usage rate, which is tied with Devin Booker as the 11th highest in the league, which Paolo is rightfully deserved, as he's already proven his talent in a short time. And although his professional career sample is a small one so far, it is one that shows a lot of promise, as Paolo is still the rookie leader for most points per game and rebounds per game, and looking like a definite frontrunner for Rookie of the Year award, with his only competition looking to be Jaden Ivey and Benedict Mathurin. But even more impressively, at the time of his exit, his 9 20-point games was enough to put him as 6th most 20-point games in the league, behind players such as KD, Luka, Tatum, Steph, and Ja Morant, already aligning himself alongside modern-day greats. And if he continues at this pace, it seems to be on track to join another elite club, as one of only 8 players to become an all-star in their rookie season, joining players such as Yao Ming, Tim Duncan, and Shaq, who of course accomplished this feat well in Orlando. It seems the Magic have once again hit on their first overall pick, which is crucial timing, as the team has only managed to stay above 500 once in the past 10 seasons. So hopefully Paolo is finally the savior this organization needed. If you stayed to the end, make sure to subscribe not to miss another video. Hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next upload.